Hey guys, Rick Malero here with This Capital, and I'm super excited because today I'm with one of my good friends and business partners, Tony, and we're in Carrollwood, specifically talking about a very amazing investment strategy that I believe is the future of real estate. And I am so proud that Tony had the foresight years before this becomes a real big thing. And so Tony, thank you so much for being here with us today and inviting us into this beautiful project. Why don't we start first of all so that the audience understands what this is. How did you first get involved from doing flips and construction to actually investing in residential assisted living facilities?
That's a great question. So basically we were doing flips in 2016, 17, 18. Then there was a little bit of a change in the market and I started foreshadowing and seeing what is coming up in the next 10, 15 years. So basically we're going into, as they call, a silver tsunami. What does that mean? There's a lot of these baby boomers that are getting into a certain age that will eventually need assisted living. Right now, they're not even into assisted living. It's their parents that are into the residential assisted living. So basically what we're doing is just getting ahead of the puck, or as Wayne Gretzky says, go where the puck is going, and we are gonna be ready for it, for all the demand that's coming.
That's awesome. And so what I love about the fact is that you took this deal. In fact, we were funding projects with you like this, and you were innovative enough to take a single family house that had equity already in it. You did an incredible job at renovating it, but what you also did is you maximized the way that the floor plan was designed. So now you went from having a 4-bedroom or 5-bedroom house, you converted into a 6-bedroom on average. Why don't we talk about how the assisted living facility aspect of it? So you took a regular house, you converted into an assisted living. What was that process like? Just kind of walk us through so people can understand what does that look like?
So at the end of the day, the best solution is to find a residential setting in an area where the demographics support what you want to do. There's a lot of residential assisted livings. There are a lot of these mom and pops. That's not what we're doing. We all have private bedrooms, private bathrooms. So basically we found a 3,000-ish square foot home that had 4 or 5 bedrooms that were able to add another 1 or 2 bedrooms, so total of 6 bedrooms. But what we are different, we try to have everybody with private bathrooms to give a little bit on the higher end of the residential assisted living. So we took a garage, which is not something that we need. We basically converted that into extra square footage where we're gonna do activities, or we could turn that into 2 bedrooms. This particular home, we were lucky because we only needed to add 1 more bedroom, but we added another 3.5 baths. So how do we do that? Basically, you take square footage of the homes, you take the master bedroom that has 300 square feet, and you could divide that into 2 smaller bedrooms of 150 square feet. And then you have the extra square footage to add the bathrooms because we don't need walk-in closets. We need smaller closets.
Absolutely, and that's, again, that's very innovative because again, you're playing with the floor plan that you have. Now, one of the things that I liked, and investors might say, well, okay, 1 house, 6 bedrooms, can you justify business? But what I liked about the innovative strategy is we call it the 3-pack as we talk about it, right? So you bought 3 homes within a mile radius, which is the strategy that you have so that you can have the proper management. Why don't you talk a little bit about that and how you got set this up with those 3 properties?
So basically we found our first one, we started renovating, and right before we were ready to open the first one, we already picked up a second property and we started doing the same thing. And this is the third of the 3-pack. The idea of keeping everything all together close by. We have 1 management team because that's well, as good as you are, it's all about the management team you have around you. So we have 1 executive director who's able to take care of the 3. We have all professional caregivers in each of our places. And it's close enough that you could manage in case something happens at one place or in another. They could run to one place or another, but you also have the cost effectiveness of having 1 management team overlooking all 3.
Absolutely, and before we get to the numbers, because they're pretty impressive, just for somebody to kind of understand, because I remember when you called me and said, Rick, work with me on this deal, it's an assisted living facility. In my brain, all I could see is this humongous box full of hundreds of elderly, right? And so I'm like, what are you trying to do? And when I came here, I was like, oh my goodness, this is incredible, right? So for somebody who's watching from overseas or investors are pretty much around the world, what is the difference between what we would call a big box assisted living facility versus this residential assisted living facility?
So this is not your grandma's assisted living facility where everybody is 100, 200 people on a multi-floor complex, humongous. This is residential. your mom and dad or your grandmother or grandfather, they lived in a home. So what happens is basically they will want to continue living in a home when they need help in their ADLs. They do not want to go into a big box. The big box, basically you have a 15-to-1 direct care. So 15 residents to one caregiver. While here in a residential assisted living, we have 6-to-1 or 5-to-1 care, which gives a little bit more, actually a lot more care to the personal resident that needs it.
Now, for that service, let's say, for example, the communities that you're in right now with this beautiful property, what is the average fee that you guys charge for a resident to be in one of the bedrooms?
So we're on a private pay. Basically, you have a private room, private bathroom. The average is $4,000 a month. That is all included. Everything's included in that price.
Mm-hmm. That includes your food, your assistance, cleaning, everything else.
Everything is included for the resident.
Yeah, one of the things that I found interesting, Tony, that I think kind of connects this, instead of that sterile environment where, like you said, you have 1-to-12 ratio, I personally would be super concerned if my family was there, and I'm always worried about, are they watching them? Are they taking care of them? Are they gonna notice them in this sea of other people that are there? Where here is more private, it's intimate, there's somebody always available for them as well. And one of the things that I thought was interesting is in the communities that you're purchasing these properties, they're like, and I noticed there's like a psychology, so I want you to talk a little bit about that, but just to kind of give you an overview of what I saw, is you're specifically going to a community where it's sustainable. So meaning if I live in this community, it would be my grandmother that I would have here because I can come see her every day and leave, but I know that she's well taken care of.
Yeah, that's the thing. Talked about demographics. So the areas that we're choosing are a little bit on the higher end demographics where the daughter or the granddaughter doesn't want to travel 20 miles to go see mom or grandma. They want to even walk. And a lot of our residents, the families are all in the areas. That's why we're in a residential area. And they're all within 5-minute car ride. And sometimes, some of them are even 5 minutes by walking. We have a lot of them that just walk and come and see grandma.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So now that we've talked a little bit about what that looks like, and we've talked about the cash flow, I mean, if you have 6 units, multiply that by $4,000 a month per bedroom. I mean, obviously the math is there, especially when you have three homes, right? So you have 18 units that you're basically working with. So from an investor's perspective, especially I know in the beginning, I was still very skeptical, mainly because I didn't understand. I didn't get this whole picture. So now looking into the future, what is the runway? What do you see the runway of this particular business model being? Is this something that's got a window of time before it's over? Or is this something that we're just getting started and there's so much more on its way?
That's a great question. So basically the baby boomers, like I said earlier, they haven't even started coming in. Right now, we have 76.3 million baby boomers. 2 years ago, there was 74 million baby boomers. Every day, 10,000 people are turning 65 and over. Every day, 4,000 people are turning 85 and over. Average age of assisted living is 82 years old. So in Florida, there's about 3,000 communities right now, assisted living, small and big. There's about 150,000 beds. We have 5.2 million baby boomers that are 65 and over. And in reality, about 2% of these baby boomers will be needing assisted living. Not nursing home, not senior care, assisted living. So in the next 10 years, 5.3% is gonna raise the baby boomers. So if we're at 5.2, add another 5.3% every year for the next 10 years. Now till 2030, we're gonna be missing about 116,000 beds to be precise. So if 2% of this, that means that there's such a demand coming, as they said before, a silver tsunami is coming. There's such a demand that we need to build. Now, the baby boomers, they've always grown up in a home. They're not gonna go into a big box where they have to walk along a whole big corridor, take 3 elevators to go down to the main dining room. They're not gonna do that. They're gonna like to come from their room and come straight to the dining room like you see here. So there's gonna be a big shortage of residential assisted living. There's gonna be a big shortage of nice homes. There's a lot of homes that are run by mom and pops. The baby boomers, they have the money and they like the nicer things of life, and especially when they get to that certain age where they will be needing assisted living, they're gonna want the upper end assisted living, which is what we're doing.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the beautiful things that I like. You know, I've actually, when I was doing my diligence with you on this project, one of the things that I noticed is there really were only mainly two spectrums. It was either A, you're in the higher end of the spectrum and you're dealing with more, you know, the big box, or B, you have these people that live in their home and now they're trying to make cash flow. So they're renting the other 2 or 3 bedrooms in their house and they have no idea what they're doing, and it's almost scary, right? And so what I love about this is almost running an operation in a level of an institution, but at such a level that it's still very relational, very personal, right? And so I love the model because I agree with you 100%, especially when you strategically go to neighborhoods like this. You get filled up all the time very quickly because, again, you're serving a community with people that live in the community, and you're giving them a high-end product that they're used to because they live in this place. And most of those families, chances are, were here 20 years ago. And so you're still giving them that comfort of, hey, I'm not just putting my mom in a box somewhere and I feel guilty, but you actually are proud of the fact that, hey, mom's right next door. And so I think that's a really unique selling position with what we're doing here. And it's very lucrative. It creates a great opportunity for both the resident, but also from the investor's perspective. It's still a very beautiful opportunity. And again, I love the fact that you just talked about how we're not even close to being in a place that we can fulfill with the tsunami that's coming. And so this really gives investors like the ones watching today and us a lot of great hope that this is going to be a complete new level. And I'll liken it unto this because I remember, you know, short-term rental properties has been another strategy that we've done. You and I've stayed at a couple buddy of ours, right, who do some crazy stuff. But short-term rental properties have been around for a while. This is not like the brand new thing. It's just when they married technology with housing, there was a massive influx of growth, right? And so I look at assisted living facilities in the same way. This isn't something new, but this is something that now is becoming a major need in the marketplace. And with technology and innovative investors like you, we're creating an actual product that has a lot of demand. And I love being a part of things that are at the forefront and that we're already seeing it. So I'm very excited, but I want to challenge each and every one of you to consider, for those investors that are looking at this model and say, wow, I get it, it makes sense, we're going to make a lot of money, this is fantastic, we get to do good and build wealth, but only one problem, I don't have $10 million to start. Here's the beautiful thing, we built a fund, and that fund is public. Investors can be a part of deals just like this with Tony for as little as $5,000. And you don't have to live here, you could be from around the world. And so we want to invite you, as you see this, to really get your perspective and see how you can be a part of projects just like this for as little as $5 grand. So why don't we take a look?
Sure, great. So as you see,
That work?
Yep. All right, so let's start with,
You're gonna,
this is your coffee.
yes.
yeah, we don't offer Starbucks here.
Yeah.